A potato chip is one of life's great pleasures, until you realize you just swallowed metal. Sounds crazy? Well, it happened. From bags with glass at the bottom to dangerously spicy chips, these potato chip recalls shook up the snack industry. Since some people have life-threatening allergies, it's the responsibility of companies to provide accurate ingredient lists on their products. People's lives literally depend on it after all. That's why Frito-Lay had to recall 6,344 bags of its Lay's classic potato chips in December 2024. The official reason for the recall was stated as undeclared milk. This doesn't sound like a huge deal, but it is for those with dairy allergies. Frito-Lay pulled over 6,000 bags of its classic chips from outlets in Oregon and Washington. Though only 2 states' worth of chips were seemingly affected, the severity of the health implications concerning this recall was intense. The original recall was announced in late 2024, but over a month later, the Food and Drug Administration upped the recall to a Class 1 hazard. This meant that there was a reasonable possibility that consuming the recalled product could result in fatality or serious harm to health. Luckily, no reports of allergic reactions were reported due to this contaminated product. In 2010, Procter & Gamble recalled 2 Pringles flavors, Restaurant Cravers Cheeseburger and Family Faves Taco Night, due to an ingredient that may have been contaminated with salmonella. The factory that produced the ingredient used in these Pringles flavors was found to have deplorable conditions, including standing water, dirty equipment, and multiple positive salmonella tests. The Pringles recall affected around 0.5% of the Pringles sold domestically. While that may sound like a small number, it still represented a large amount of product given the brand's huge popularity in 2010.
Once you pop, the fun don't stop.
Unless salmonella stops ya, which is why Procter & Gamble looked to unload its ownership of Pringles, ultimately selling the brand in 2012. Oddly enough, metal in food products isn't as rare as it should be. Back in 2022, Walmart issued a recall for its Great Value brand Tortilla chips due to the possibility of metal being present in bags. This affected over 25,000 bags of Great Value brand restaurant-style white tortilla chips. However, despite the large quantity of potentially contaminated product, this recall didn't harm consumers. Luckily, the issue was caught before any of the bags actually hit the shelves. Cases of white tortilla chips were shipped out to distribution centers, but did not get further in the distribution process before being destroyed. Walmart still carries Great Value brand tortilla chips, though the bag has seen a redesign. It's not clear if this redesign comes in direct response to the significant recall, but it's safe to say that consumers most likely did not appreciate the food scare. Metal isn't the only foreign object that has found its way inside a chip bag. In 2020, Miss Vickie's recalled its products after customers complained about the presence of glass in chip bags. The brand issued a recall for a number of Kettle chip flavors, then an additional recall for its original recipe Kettle chip flavor. A full count of the chips pulled was not reported, but a wide range of products were affected. Altogether, 27 varieties of chip bags were recalled, with even more batch numbers involved. While thankfully no one was seriously hurt by the presence of glass in their Kettle chips, one consumer did report an injury to their tooth. Considering the potential for serious harm from eating glass, this is a minor but still unacceptable injury. Consumers could have purchased the affected bags of chips either in vending machines or stores. However, bags sold online were also included in the recall. With most of the affected chips likely purchased, officials warned consumers to check their pantries. In March 2025, Frito-Lay announced a recall due to undeclared dairy ingredients. The company's Tostitos brand was the target of the recall, with more than 1,000 bags of Cantina traditional yellow tortilla chips pulled from store shelves. The affected products were spread over 13 states, not including purchases made through online vendors. Though the Tostitos recall was for undeclared milk, it was not a labeling issue. Somehow, the brand's nacho cheese-flavored chips were included in some of the affected bags. Tostitos nacho cheese chips do include dairy, making it hazardous for those with an allergy to enjoy an otherwise safe bag of chips. If dairy isn't an issue for consumers, the recalled bags pose no risk other than the possibility of a cheesy chip every once in a while.
I like cheesy.
Me too.
While chips can be a painful snack if you don't chew properly, you don't typically get seriously injured. It's a different story entirely when your chips could contain metal shavings, which very well could have been the reality for people buying SunChips back in 2013. Frito-Lay recalled over 13,000 bags of SunChips due to the possibility of metal having been baked into the chips.
Oh God, I taste metal. I can't get oxygen through my nose hairs.
This recall was not SunChips specific, as it originated from Dakota Specialty Milling, where a number of products were flagged. After metal from a defective screen shed into the flour, a large number of recalls were put out to consumers. This included SunChips' 6-grain medley creamy roasted garlic and Parmesan and herb flavors. Both of these flavors are no longer sold, but they were pretty popular before the metal scare. Since entering the chip scene in the early 90s, SunChips have had 2 major recalls. The most recent one happened in 2024 and aligns with quite a few other recalls of the time. Salmonella was found to be present in the facility where an ingredient was manufactured. While the chips themselves were unaffected, the seasoning used to flavor the Harvest cheddar chips could have possibly been compromised. Officially, the recall was a precautionary measure, as no salmonella was actively found in any of the seasoning used for the chips. Though no official numbers were released, the recall affected 2 of the most popular SunChips products, Harvest Cheddar and Munchie Snack Mix. Salmonella has been at the heart of many recent foodborne epidemics and is a bacteria that shouldn't be treated lightly. Luckily, no reported cases of sickness were associated with this recall. The caution is warranted and likely appreciated, as the recall occurred at the tail end of a salmonella outbreak in Canada. Dill pickle flavored everything was all the rage a few years ago, and pickle lovers still reach for the occasional pickled flavored product.
What spice is in here? Is that dill? Why the hell is dill in here? It's a catastrophe.
Food Lion's house brand of dill pickle chips saw a recall back in 2018. Despite the pickle flavor still being a popular product a lot of chip companies carry, Food Lion no longer sells its version of the chip. This may be due to the significant recall, which spanned more than 7,000 cases over several states. The recall was over a labeling issue, in that the label neglected to warn the consumer of the presence of milk in the chips. Unfortunately, the inconsistency between the ingredients in the label was found only after there were negative consequences. A consumer with a dairy allergy had an allergic reaction to the chips. Luckily, it was not reported to be fatal. Any allergy not noted on the label is cause for major concern, and the recall very well could have prevented other more serious reactions from occurring. It's not just the big box brands that have the occasional recall. The small guys sometimes have to pull products too. Route 11 is a regional but popular kettle chip brand found mostly in Virginia and surrounding areas, from mom and pop shops to mainstream grocery stores. The small batch chip brand prides itself on quality and its low impact on the environment. Since being founded in the early 90s, it has seen only 1 recall. In 2016, one of its chip flavors was recalled due to a seasoning ingredient that was potentially contaminated with salmonella. The sour cream and chive kettle chips contained non-fat dry milk powder, which the FDA suspected to have been manufactured on unsanitary equipment. The lack of sanitation where this ingredient was made created the ideal environment for salmonella to thrive. In fact, FDA investigators did find records of salmonella being present in samples produced in the same plant, Valley Milk. While the recall appeared to be warranted, no salmonella was actually found in any of the tested Route 11 chips or the dry milk powder seasoning ingredient. Luckily, no instances of salmonella were reported surrounding this product either. Another regional chip brand, Deep River, pulled its sour cream and onion kettle chips off shelves due to Valley Milk's poor sanitation issues in 2016. The same powdered milk ingredient found in Route 11's chips was also used in Deep River's chips. The Connecticut-based chip company recalled 3 batches of its sour cream and onion chips in association with the much larger Valley Milk salmonella scare. Similarly to the other related recalls, no salmonella was found in the tested products, and this recall was voluntary. Despite its 2016 troubles, Deep River and its sour cream chips remain popular and are distributed in mainstream stores like TJ Maxx across the country. Most chips are pretty salty, so you expect a hit of salt when munching on them. Food labels and ingredient lists are great tools to help figure out just how salty a snack is going to be. When you check them, you're acting under the assumption that the labels are accurate. Inaccurate food labels are a recall-worthy mistake, as Food Express USA can attest to. Over 3,000 cases, which contain over 60,000 bags of the company's Coyote Valley sour cream and onion chips, were recalled in January of 2025 for listing the wrong sodium information. This recall was not mandated, but the chips were pulled from 3 states by Food Express USA. This recall went somewhat under the radar, and that may be due to Coyote Valley chips not being available for purchase to the mass market. Food Express USA supplies snacks to prison stores, allowing incarcerated individuals to purchase them. Though the disparity of sodium between the incorrect label and what is really in the chips was unclear and unreported, the recall appeared to be a responsible one. When you eat too much salt, both your heart and kidneys can be negatively impacted. For those those tracking their salt intake, an accurate label is vital. Most of these recalls managed to avoid serious consequences for consumers, but one case made headlines as a distinctly avoidable tragedy. In 2023, the unthinkable happened when a teenager passed away as the result of Paqui's one-chip challenge. The product in question, more a viral sensation than viable foodstuff, consisted of a single chip that measured well over 1 million on the Scoville scale. Unlike most snacks, this chip wasn't designed for taste, but for pain. A 14-year-old went into cardiac arrest after eating the chip. His autopsy linked the fatal event to the chip's high amount of capsaicin, a chemical that makes peppers as spicy as they are. Paqui immediately pulled 100% of its one-chip challenge chips from shelves and ceased shipments following the tragedy. Paqui released a statement regretting the unfortunate loss of life, but claimed the chip was for adult challengers only. Since the tragedy, Paqui as a whole has been disbanded, and any of the brand's products can only be found on the resale market.